So right now I'm working on the chain plates. I've gone through and cut them all down some, and right now I'm coming back and drilling the new pinhole so that they all match. And I've already done this one, and I've rounded over the edges some. I think that's going to be good enough. I'm going to have to polish it a little better, but so I'm going to go ahead and drill these now. Alright, so I've finished grinding all these chain plates down just to kind of the shape that I want them to be in. And now I'm just going through with this little polishing disc and just kind of cleaning up the edges. Here's one I've already done, and does a pretty good job cleaning up the edges, any little burrs, and it leaves it with a pretty good finish. Alright, so now that I've got these polished down pretty good, I'm going to use this little buffing wheel and some of this compound, polishing compound, and just try to polish it up a little bit more. These were originally electro polished, that's why the bottom half is like still super shiny, but I think I can get it pretty close. I'm not worried about having like a perfect mirror finish or anything, so looks pretty good. I think it's plenty polished enough for my needs. You can see my reflection in it. Dulled reflection, but yeah, I think that'll work. So I just need to do the other 5, and then these will pretty much be ready to go back in. So here we're trying to get a lineup in the tree. We started by launching arrows from other trees, and trying to throw it up by hand. We finally got smart and made a pole to drop the line over with.
Okay.
And then we were all set.
Yeah, I'm going to tie the end of this to the block. Okay.
That's the only way we get in and off the...
Alright, well, it took a little bit longer than we thought it would to get that line up there. But we've got it all rigged, so we're gonna come back and work on it probably next weekend. But we're ready to hoist the mast up there now, so should be able to get it done next weekend. We got the boat back inside for now, and gonna keep working on some other small stuff. So I just have some of these old pieces on there for now, these old tangs. I thought we were gonna raise it up today, so I'll probably take these back off And right now I'm also working on replacing those, and need to polish it up a little bit better, but this is what I started with, just this raw stock. But I'm having fun working with metal. It's a nice change from fiberglass. I don't know whose dog this is, but he keeps coming to say hi. Yes, you're a very happy dog. Another cool thing we just figured out was that our boom, there's a ping pong ball, was that our boom is actually a furling boom. So this turns it, and you can furl your mainsail down, I guess for reefing and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Getting ready to install the last of the through holes. Okay, we got these through holes in place. Still need to put this one in. I didn't have the valve for this one, so I couldn't position it in the right place. So need to wait till we get the valve, and then we'll get that one installed. Alright, so I've got the boat back outside. Gonna go ahead and start prepping the top sides to hopefully get it painted. First coat of paint on there tomorrow. I also need to repair some holes. This was an old drain plug. Need to fill that in, so I'm gonna go ahead and grind away some glass and prep it to be filled back in. Same thing up here, we got a little kind of like a gouge we need to fill in. Alright, well, I got the boat all sanded yesterday and got it moved back inside, and I've got it all taped off and cleaned. I just need to go back over it with the tack cloth, and I think I'm ready to go ahead and do the first layer of top coat. So I'm going to be using Pettit Easy Epoxy. I'm going to add this performance enhancer, improved gloss and hardness, improved UV resistance. Alright, well, I got the first coat of paint on there, of the top coat, and I'm not real happy with how it turned out. It's super shiny, but if you look closely, I definitely just had way too much paint, so it's like sagging in places. If you can see, it just was kind of like coming down, so it looks kind of wavy. So I guess I was using too long of a nap. I was using a 3/16 nap roller, but it was just putting way too much on. And then for the port side, I switched to a little foam roller that I had, and it was a lot better. Still seems like it's putting too much on. So there's like a little bit of texture, but this side is definitely a lot better than the starboard side. But that was my first attempt at rolling and tipping on a hull like this, so definitely a learning curve. I'm just gonna probably sand this down with 220 to get rid of some of the little ridges and stuff that formed, and try to get a smoother finish on the next coat. So I'm also working on the rub rail, and I found some Ipe decking, and I cut it down to be the the width that I wanted. And these are 10-foot sections, so I'm going to end up gluing 3 pieces together to make the rub rail. And this should be a bit more substantial than what was there. A little bit thicker anyways. So I got those all cut down to size. I'm also working on getting these tracks mounted back on top of the tow rail. And I had to make some new, these were just some little, basically just a spacer to make the tracks stand off of the tow rail so that the slides can move up and down. And these are just some of the offcuts from the decking. So these are the right size and everything now. I just need to put them on these tracks and then mark where the holes go and then drill those out. Then I can get these mounted back in place. Need to straighten them out in a few spots, but other than that, they're in really good shape. It's a big, heavy piece of bronze, so pretty cool. And I've also gotten the chain plates mounted and the covers in place. So I didn't tape anything off, and I made a little bit of a mess. But this, I used life caulk, and it cleans up pretty easy, so I'll just come back and clean it up a bit. Also got the mast step bedded down, so this is good to go. I'm also working on getting these cockpit drains in place. They have a bevel on them, so I had to drill it out to the diameter of the top of them, at the top of the drain fitting. And then I taped it in place and then filled the backside with thickened epoxy. So I'm letting that cure, and then hopefully I'll be able to get those back out, and then I can bed them in with some caulk. Also, I bought a water lock. This is a Vetus water lock, and I rerouted the exhaust a little bit. I need to figure out a good way to secure this better, because if it fills up with water, it's probably going to move around a little bit. But I rerouted the exhaust to come up higher above the water line, so it comes up and then back down. So any water that comes in from like a wave or whatever should come in up only a little ways and then flow back out. And then if it does get past that, the water lock should stop it from getting any further. So I think I'm good to go on the exhaust system for now. Alright, so we've got the mast all rigged up. And we lifted it once already, so we think it's going to work. This comes to this tree here, and then we're going to lift it up with this truck.
Going forward. Okay. Is that all?
Once we had the mast positioned over the boat, we started attaching as much of the rigging as possible to help stabilize it. We then had to back the boat up enough to clear the tree so that it could stand up straight. Then we finished rigging it up.
We need another beer.
Yeah.
So after we had the mast up, Reagan positioned all the turnbuckles and everything pretty much where they needed to be, and then we came back and marked them with some tape, and once we pulled it back down, we just laid them out and got accurate measurements from the center of the pin to the center of the marine eye. So now we have all the measurements we need to make the new rigging. So I got these patched up. Got that one done too. And I got this bigger patch done. This one came out really smooth. Probably don't even need to do any fairing on it. So, just gonna barrier coat those little spots. Well, sand it down and then barrier coat it. And then gonna be sanding the whole hull down and prepping it for some bottom paint here pretty quick. So I've also been doing some more work down below. So I've been working on building out these bunks, and I went with just a continuous piano hinge, and you can just open this whole thing up, and then you have access to storage, and there's going to be another battery like that one sitting there. It's a 100 amp hour battery. And then the same thing on this side. It'll be another opening door, and this is the starter battery. And pretty much ready to start hooking these batteries up. Here's my little control panel. Engine controls, little battery meter, and some switches. Then this is both on, and then you can also combine battery banks. And then over on this side, I'm going to add in some more paneling, and the solar controller will go there, and then also cables will be routed behind it, so it'll be kind of hiding them. And then the little galley, I'm waiting on the sink. It should be here tomorrow, and I need to get that positioned and cut out, and then I'll position this little cabinet face and build out the rest. Then up in the V-berth, working on getting this built out. This is where the toilet's gonna go, and I need to go buy it actually, and that way I can build the floor for it and get it in position. And this is the old flooring. Kind of got it roughly where it's supposed to go, and so this is gonna be closed off on both sides, and then these will be opening for more storage. And then same thing up here. I just have this stuff dry fitted for now, but this will open and give you access to I think I'm gonna try to put a water bladder in here. Not a big one, but so that's gonna be the lower part of the chain locker. I'm gonna glass that in. Then I'll glass in a flat piece on top of it that goes back to the hole up there at the bow. And then once I have that all glassed in and tabbed in on the sides, I'll come back and put a face piece on it. And then once I have all this stuff fit the way I want it, I'm gonna come back and paint the hull, and getting pretty close. Alright guys, well that's it for another video. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to give a big thank you to Reagan and Jason for coming by and helping get the mast up there. Definitely would not have been able to do that on my own, so it was a huge help, and definitely a big step for getting this boat sailable again. I also want to thank all of our subscribers and everybody who comments and likes and supports us in other ways, and all of our patrons. We don't have a lot of you guys, but it really does help out, and we really appreciate it. So up next, I'm going to continue working on the interior, but I'm going to focus on the top sides, getting them painted, and as well as prepping the deck for paint and non-skid, and the cockpit. I really need to start working in the cockpit and getting it faired and ready to be painted. That's like the last really ugly part of the boat. Except for like this area, but it's the last really big ugly part of the boat that I need to get to. And if everything goes according to plan, I think the next video you guys might see this boat in the water. So no, the boat's not going to be done, but all the major work will be done, and hopefully I think it'll be sailable. And then, you know, all this interior work, there's a lot of trim and stuff that I have to do, but I can kind of just chip away at that, you know, as I go. And it'll be a refreshing change to work on the boat in the water, you know, maybe go for a sail, come back, do a little bit of work. So yeah, I'm excited to move forward and get this thing in the water and just see what happens, see where it goes from here. Alright guys, well thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take it easy.